At just 24, Ava Lane had already conquered more runways than most models twice her age. Her sharp cheekbones, piercing eyes, and short dark hair made her instantly recognizable in a sea of faces. She had walked for the biggest names in fashion, fronted global campaigns for makeup brands, and appeared in countless editorials dressed in sleek leather, glossy latex, or nothing but shimmering skin and a stare that could set fire to film. Ava was fearless. At least that's what the world thought. In truth, she had learned to play the part well. Confidence came naturally in front of the lens, under the hot studio lights. It was her stage, and she adored it. She loved working alone, the freedom it gave her, but also the electric chemistry when paired with another model, man or woman. She liked the challenge of making every shoot look effortless, and her look, especially her hair, had become a signature. Always styled short and sharp, sometimes slicked back, sometimes tousled, it framed her face like a crown. Then came the email. Her agent, Marco, had flagged it as exciting and different, which usually meant something weird. Ava clicked through the proposal on her phone while riding to a leather-themed editorial shoot in Berlin. Global hair brand seeking bold model for campaign to redefine beauty. High fashion meets transformation. Full head shave on camera required. Video and photo content. Long-term brand partnership offered to chosen talent. She read it twice. Ava laughed at first. She had done plenty of edgy shoots, but this was something else. Shaving her head? Bald? It would erase everything people associated with her face. No hair to hide behind. No softening of the jawline or framing of the eyes. Just bare skin and bone structure. The thought shook her, but also, it intrigued her. That night in her hotel room, after a long day wrapped in tight black leather and smoky eye makeup, she sat in front of the mirror and ran her fingers through her short, dark hair. She turned her head side to side, inspecting her reflection. Her hair was part of her identity, but it was also just hair. Would it grow back? Of course, but that wasn't the point. This campaign would be huge. The brand was one of the top names in hairdressing, famous for provocative, stylish visuals. The shoot would be high budget, with international exposure. Marco had mentioned that they were looking for someone iconic, someone who could pull off bald and still look like a goddess. Her. Still, the idea of being filmed during such a personal transformation gave her pause. It wouldn't be like just wearing a new style. This was real change, raw, exposed, irreversible in the moment. She called Marco. You really think I could pull off bald? There was a pause. Ava, you'd make it art. 2 weeks later, she stood in a stark white studio in Paris, staring at the setup. A large leather salon chair was placed in the center of the room. High-end cameras surrounded it. Lights. A boom microphone. 2 photographers and a small film crew moved around quietly, respectfully. A makeup artist touched up her skin one last time while the hairstylist, a striking woman named Claudine, smiled warmly at her. You ready, Cherie? Claudine asked, brushing Ava's dark locks gently with a comb. Ava looked at herself in the mirror across the room. Her sharp jawline, her defined cheekbones, her lips glossed just slightly, her short, elegant hair. She wore a sleek red PVC cape over her black crop top and leather pants. The cape shimmered under the studio lights, glossy, bold, dramatic. Everything was ready. She took a breath. Roll cameras, she said softly. Claudine nodded. The crew stepped into position. The moment the clippers clicked on, Ava's heart pounded in her chest. The low hum filled the room. She felt the vibration even before the blades touched her scalp. Claudine placed a steady hand on the top of her head, tilting it forward ever so slightly. And then, buzz. The clippers glided up the back of her head, slow and deliberate. Ava's eyes widened just a little as she felt the cool metal against her skin. She exhaled slowly. A thick strip of her dark hair slid down the red cape and landed in her lap. The cameras zoomed in. Claudine worked skillfully, running the clippers up from her nape to the crown, carving neat paths through her once dense hair. The vibrations were oddly soothing, almost hypnotic. Ava closed her eyes for a moment. She could feel the cool air brushing against her bare scalp, new and foreign. Hair fell in chunks around her shoulders, down her back, onto the floor. She looked up at the camera, still rolling, and gave a soft, confident smile. One side, then the other. Claudine moved methodically, reducing her thick, dark hair to uneven fuzz. The sound of the clippers hummed in harmony with the quiet movements of the crew. No one spoke. They didn't need to. The moment was intimate, sacred. Ava tilted her head to the left as the clippers were guided around her ear. She felt a lock of hair tickle her cheek as it fell. Another few swipes, and her hairline was gone. The familiar curve of her scalp was now visible from every angle. Claudine turned off the clippers. Ava looked in the mirror and gasped quietly. She was almost bald. Only a soft shadow of stubble remained, giving her a faint, velvety layer. Her face, fully exposed, looked stronger, more powerful. Her eyes looked even brighter now, more piercing. But the transformation wasn't done. Claudine reached for a silver bowl filled with warm lather and a soft brush. Slowly, she painted Ava's scalp with the foam. It tingled slightly. Cooling, calming. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every stroke. Then came the razor. Claudine's hand was precise and gentle. She began at the top, slowly drawing the straight razor backward across the crown. With each motion, the sound of shaving cream being scraped away filled the room. The blade removed the stubble with a quiet hiss, leaving behind bare, glistening skin. She worked in sections, temple to crown, crown to nape, wiping the blade carefully after each pass. Ava watched in awe. It felt surreal. The intimacy of the blade, the smooth glide, the vulnerability of it. Her scalp was revealed like polished stone. Once finished, Claudine wiped her head gently with a warm cloth. Then she applied a soft oil that gave her skin a subtle shine. The result was stunning. Ava stared at herself, fully bald now, completely transformed, not stripped, not diminished, empowered. The red cape gleamed under the lights, framing her bare head like a throne. She ran her hands slowly over her scalp, feeling the smoothness, the perfection of it. Her fingers trembled slightly, then steadied. She smiled at the mirror, a real smile. "I love it," she said. The final frames of the shoot captured Ava standing up from the chair, the red cape removed with a dramatic flourish. Her bald head gleamed under the studio lights, smooth and proud. She posed instinctively, hand to hip, chin tilted, bare head catching the glow like a sculptural masterpiece. The crew applauded quietly, respectfully. Claudine offered her a soft towel, but Ava shook her head. "Number, let them see it as it is," she said, turning toward the nearest camera. "This is me now." Later, she sat alone in the makeup chair again, no longer for touch-ups, but simply staring at her reflection. She traced her fingers over the smooth skin of her scalp. Her face looked so much cleaner, sharper. It was like meeting herself all over again. There were no distractions now, no strands to fix, no styles to fuss over. Just Ava. When the edited shoot dropped online a week later, the internet erupted. Baldava began trending in over 40 countries. Screenshots of her transformation spread across social media. Before and after shots, GIFs of the shaving process, close-ups of the razor gliding across her scalp. Fans called it brave, iconic, revolutionary. Brands reposted it with captions like, "This is power." Bald never looked so fierce. And the fashion industry noticed. Within days, Ava's agency inbox overflowed. Haute couture houses wanted her for upcoming shows. A major magazine offered her the cover. Bald, raw, powerful. A genderless fashion brand requested her for their campaign, praising her courage and presence. She said yes to all of them. 2 months passed. Ava remained bald and proud, her confidence only growing with each photoshoot, each red carpet appearance where her head shimmered under the flash of 1,000 cameras. Stylists experimented, drawing designs, applying metallic foils, even adorning her scalp with body art. Her baldness had become her crown. But one morning, over breakfast in a sunlit cafe in Milan, she had a sudden idea. What if I went blonde? She mused aloud to Marco, who had flown in for Fashion Week. He blinked. Blonde what? My bald head. Marco nearly dropped his espresso. You mean, dye your scalp? Ava grinned. Why not? Who says you need hair to go blonde? She made the appointment that afternoon. A trusted colorist, someone who'd worked with her before, met her in a private studio. They applied a gentle, scalp-safe bleach solution across her head, then toned it to a pale, icy blonde. The process tickled slightly but wasn't painful. Ava watched the transformation in the mirror, fascinated. By the time they finished, her head gleamed like platinum. It caught the light in a way that felt otherworldly. Futuristic. A statement.